Today I would like to speak about the topic of singing and fear. This is quite a sensitive topic and it needs so much compassion and understanding because so many people struggle about it. So when you start to sing, when you go into vocal expression, you enter a space where you really open up, you make yourself vulnerable, and in a way you are naked. You share with others what is happening inside of you. So basically you're sharing your most intimate experience. You're sharing through the sound of your voice, your feeling tone, your felt sense tone. And so this is a very personal and intimate experience. So I can really understand when people come to me and say, look, I'm so scared. I would really like to sing, but every time I'm about to start, I don't know, I freak out. I'm afraid. I'm so afraid about being judged, about being laughed at, about being ridiculed, etc. So I can really understand this because at the level of the nervous system, singing is a process that involves a flow, an opening up. So as research has shown, when we sing, our nervous system starts to get into more regulation. Singing is so healthy and it increases social engagement, etc. But very often we come from a state where we are kind of quite contracted, and then when we start to open up and go into that space, there is a condension, a rebound into tension. So there is this expansion and this contraction, expansion and condension. This is a very normal movement of our nervous system, but when we go into more flow and expansion, then we shut down because fear comes. So what I have experienced through all the work that I've done with people is that it's not enough to say, oh, I'm afraid to sing, I will learn a good technique, then I will feel confident, I will have some solid tools that I will rely on. This is not enough. The psychological level, we really need to go deeper and understand not only what is happening in terms of nervous system regulation, but really to understand how we can channel the energy of fear into the singing processes itself. So when I'm working with people who are afraid of singing and are at the very beginning of their journey, it's very important that they can start to integrate and to allow fear to be there and to be heard. So very often I just tell them, so now let's start with some sounds. You do some ah sounds with a vowel, and we go. And the person might start to have a very shaky and trembly frequencies in their own voice. And that's the point, the moment where very often people say, oh, I really don't like it. I really want my voice not to tremble so much and I want to control it, to have a grip on it. And that's the moment where I really calm them down and I'm saying, look, to integrate this energy of fear, the system needs to go through a little bit of shaking, trembling. So it's perfectly okay if at the beginning the fear can be heard, can be transmitted through your voice. Sometimes also the voice breaks, sometimes it's the sound is not clean, and it's always completely fine. The point is to start to integrate the energy of fear, to start to be able to be with this energy while using the voice, while using sound. so that this fear can start to get into movement. And when we move things, then we start to transform them. Therefore, I really think that it's so important to address this topic of singing and fear from a more holistic perspective, not trying through techniques to solve this, but to really go through the capacity of the nervous system to integrate the information of fear into the sounding itself. So this is really the portal that will allow longer lasting transformation and will allow then also the person to understand that if they are afraid and if they sound and if they hear that the frequency of fear is in the sound, if they hear it and nothing terrible happens, and they kind of get also they get aware and get friends with this sort of frequency, then an habituation might start to happen, and then the person might slowly be less fearful even of the sound that would come out of this fear. So I'm really thinking that it's important to address this topic because so many people struggle with this, and it's important really to give time and space for the frequency and the sound of fear to be heard and integrated into the vocal experience.